leads them onto the descent.
Oh, it's Blevins getting really argy-bargy.
Oh, Koretsky bubbles. Koretsky now back at the front. How has he done that? It's a drag race up the bottom of the climb. Koretsky and Blevins elbow to elbow. Blevins gets the job done in Araxa.
I mean, it's one of the best feelings in the world, you know?
Streaks away from the line. Jenny Risfitz leads them.
They're really starting to fight for position.
Evie Richards, though, ghosting her way up to the front. And it's getting a bit elbows out in there at the minute. Sammy Maxwell takes to the front. Evie Richards attacks. Samara Maxwell's right with Evie Richards. Who's it going to be? Evie Richards wins round one.
I want to get home in one piece. I've got a lawn to mow.
The agony and the ecstasy and the lawn mowing from Araxa. We're here for the second round of the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series from Brazil. It's been our home for the last week, and it is about to serve up some absolutely breakneck short track racing. The UCI Cross Country Short Track World Cup Round 2 on its way to your eyeballs very, very shortly. There it is, the Grand Hotel. Let's face it, there are a lot worse places to be. 28 degrees Celsius outside just now, but only getting hotter here this afternoon. Baking sun out there. Here is how the weekend looks. 6 o'clock Central European time, cross-country short track elite women, and then the elite men's race straight afterwards. Tomorrow, all about the longer format cross-country Olympic distance. Number 23 women getting us off at 2 o'clock Central European time. 4 races straight through for you. Well, one team that has had a complete reshuffle this off-season, Cannondale Factory Racing. Josh Carlson's been down to say hello.
We are literally here at the gates of the Cannondale house. We're going to jump inside now and have a bit of a cheeky look. Hopefully someone's home. I'll just help myself, don't worry about it. All right, so this is an opportunity that you rarely ever get. We are literally inside the team house here, and this is where a lot of the magic happens. Staff quarters, athlete quarters. Kenta Gallagher, right here. Hey, mate.
How are you?
What have we got going on down here? You got a bit of massage area. This is where you guys have lunch. Charlie Aldridge's birthday yesterday.
Yeah, it was Charlie's birthday. That's why the balloons are still up. The massage table's set up there.
What's going on here in this game ready area? What is the specifics?
So this is kind of like a cooling compression system. They are quite expensive, and I guess a lot of like American football players and stuff have it because it's good for injuries and impacts, and I basically just put them on. They compress like compression boots, but they just have cold ice going through it all the time, so that's them coming in now. So.
Oh, speaking of, look at this. Here comes the crew making a mess, hey? Showing off. Don't worry about it. Right, we've seen how we work on the bodies. Let's see how they work on the bikes in here. Mate, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
How was the cake yesterday? We just saw your kitchen, and I'm pretty sure G-Man was not cooking you cake out there.
No, sadly not, but the rest of the food is great, so I can't really complain.
What is the most amount of pancakes you've eaten in one sitting?
Ooh. This week or ever?
Talk us through your race setup for this weekend here in Araxa. You've got a very special bike here. Talk us through what you're specifically doing for this bike and for this course.
You need to run your suspension a bit harder and your rebound a bit slower so you don't get bucked over the front and land on your face. I've got quite a long dropper, so you can get super low because I'm big and top heavy, so keep the weight down, let the bike come up underneath you on all the compressions. However, this year it's wet and slippy, so tyre pressures have to be a bit lower than usual. Big chain ring because it's super fast.
Happy days, mate. Well, it looks spectacular, that's for sure. We cannot wait to see it on race day. Right, well, the crew's sitting down for lunch. What an absolute privilege that was to get a behind-the-scenes look, a proper behind-the-scenes look at one of the most successful race teams of our circuit. I've harassed them enough. It's lunchtime. We cannot wait to see this amazing bunch of humans perform on the weekend. Let's get out of here. We'll see you trackside.
Josh Carlson, every home should have one. Amazing access inside Cannondale factory racing. A team slightly under pressure, you would wonder, this weekend. Need some big results from that new squad. Well, he didn't just go mooching for a free lunch. Josh Carlson is back as ever this season. Carlson on course continues. And this short track course here in Araxa should challenge him and the riders to ride to their very, very best. Let's get the big man back on track.
We're back for round 2, same epic location. If the racing last week is anything to go by, this week is going to be epic. And for the XCC, I've got these 2 legends from the Specialized Factory Racing joining me today. Right, I'm gonna get a head start and let's go and check it out. This is the main climb of the race, the pivotal point. It's all about positioning here, maintaining grip. This is the main climb of the weekend, with the focus of the XCC. So we're back up the climb into the famous rock garden once again. I've been pushed out wide onto the beeline. This is becoming a habit. And the girls have put it to me on the jumps. So we're gonna go to the beeline. Laura and Sina looking effortless. Woo! On the jumps. Some of their strongest suits. Oh, Laura gets the bridge gap. We come down the pivotal last few corners. Oh, Sienna goes the inside. Laura around the outside. Now last week, I got pipped in the final corner. Don't tell the girls, but I'm gonna attack them early. I'm gonna attack early. Victor did this. I'm on the Specialized Epic, so I'm sure I can do this now. We've got a couple of key moments to go before the final corner. Oh no, I've gone wide. Oh no. Oh, Laura's. Oh, there's no love lost. A and B line to finish. Got one big corner. Oh my goodness, yet again, I get smoked by the best in the biz. That is the XCC course here in Araxa. We'll see you trackside. Woo.
He may be outgunned, but he's never outnoised. Carlson on course, superb as ever, as we get ready to go here in Araxa. Plenty of ice vests, umbrellas out there. Getting ready to go. Well, we can hear from Cannondale, who is down there with Ashley now.
Candice, it's 28 degrees out there today. You've got your ice pack on. How much does the heat affect the riding?
I definitely think today's warmer than last week, but obviously me coming from South Africa, I think it's not too bad for me. So yeah, I think it's just about applying some good cooling strategies and not overcooking it in the beginning.
I don't want you to give all of your tactics away, but how are you going to be attacking this one? Where will you be able to gain an advantage?
Well, last week I was like, hey, you must just go out the blocks and get to the front, and that didn't really happen. And then I just made the best of the race. So yeah, I think that's not a bad strategy, is to expect or try to do the best start you can and get to the front, and then see where it goes from there. If you don't land up there, then you got to make the most of where you're at.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Cannondale all smiles down there, well used to the heat, as she says. Could well be absolutely vital today. The majority of the riders out the window of my commentary booth heading to the start line, ice vests on. The pace at the front of this one set to be red hot. Fans packing into the grounds of the Grand Araxa Hotel here. As we get ready to go racing here in Araxa, the second round of the UCI Cross Country World Cup. Sina Fry for Specialized Factory Racing heads to the start line. It is a roasting 28, 29 degrees outside. Temperatures continuing to rise as the Swiss star heads out on the number 14 bike with the blue board of the overall team leaders. Jen Jackson, what could have been last weekend? The new Orbea signing, the Canadian, superb in both races. Huge crash in the cross-country Olympic race early doors, but got up, kept swinging at it, and was duly rewarded with a 6th place. A pair of 6th places actually in both cross-country, short track and Olympic for the Canadian national champion. This woman though, going for a bit of history today. If Evie Richards can get the job done for Trek Factory Racing this afternoon, she will become the most successful elite women's short track rider, taking that mantle from Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. She would also equal Ferrand-Prévot as the only woman to win 2 short track openers. Well, we heard from her at the start, Candice Lille. All smiles, said she was well used to the heat. Could that be her trump card today? Lille, 7th in the last short track. Sevilla Blanc. For a woman who said that she mightn't even travel to Brazil this season, what a superb set of results. Decathlon Ford on top of the world currently. That team absolutely nailing it all last weekend. Sevilla Blanc heads to the start line. Alessandra Keller, the reigning UCI World Cup overall title holder. Keller, 3rd last time out in the short track. And we know she wins titles through that crushing consistency. Well able to close down gaps, lead attacks as well. Keller will be a factor today. Next up, one of the stars of the show last weekend, Nicole Kohler, 4th place in the short track for Ghost Factory Racing, and a superb cross-country Olympic race as well for the Swiss national champion. Kohler really growing in stature throughout our 2 weeks here in Araxa. Joining me in the booth, I am proud to say, 3 times Olympian, my good friend and colleague, Ollie Beckinsale, as we get Samara Maxwell onto the front row. Ollie, what a time this young woman is having in Brazil.
What a step up last week. Back to PB in the short track, and then to take it was the first time she'd hit the front of a race, and then to get a win. Yeah.
Yep, you saw her point to it there now, the red plate of the series overall points leader. Samara Maxwell from New Zealand, becoming New Zealand's first elite women's cross-country UCI World Cup Olympic distance winner last time out. But just confidence at an all-time high. Here is your starting list then. Maxwell, Kohler, Keller, Blanc, Lille, Richards, Jackson, Fry, Jenny Risvid's in there, don't forget about her. Kelsey Urban, Eibel, Graf, Terpstra, Pedersen, Steger, Courtney, Baum, Shrievers, Mitterwallner. Some question marks whether or not we'd see Mona Mitterwallner today, but she has started. Yolanda Neff there, strong start in the last one. Are we going to go and see the Swiss missile hit the front early doors here again as we get ready to go racing here in Araxa? And they are under starters' orders in Brazil. And the lights eventually turn green, and we are off and racing at the 2nd round of the UCI Cross Country Short Track World Cup. Zena Fry makes an absolutely superb start. Jen Jackson alongside her, then Sevilla Blanc as they head onto the climb for the first time, Ollie.
And it was Evie Richards. Zena Fry just cut her front wheel out, so Richards a little bit just moving up the outside, but not the best start.
You could feel the tension there. They really held them on the line for a long time there. And
I was tense. They held me on the line.
It shut the pair of us up anyway as they head on to slightly tweaked short track course here.
Change the free changes, top of the rocks at the end of the first lap. You can cut from A to B, which could be a good or bad thing. And then at the end of the corner where we saw Blevins and Koretsky swapping paint on their bikes, you've got a better line through there, so more chance of a sprint finish.
Yeah, as we've seen throughout all the track changes, really, both in the short track and the cross-country Olympic races, we think this one a lot more climbing.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a difficult XCO, but yeah, this XC is pretty much the same.
There is Sevilla Blanc now at the front as they swing right and head up the climb for the first time. So Blanc, Fry, Jackson, Richards all involved right from the start here.
And we saw the key for this race is the positioning coming into this climb. If you're third, fifth wheel, you'll be okay, but if you drift a bit far back, we'll see on this corner there'll be people off, there'll be people running, just as I say it, there we go, and we see Samara Maxwell in the middle, off and running now, having a nightmare.
Yeah, Samara Maxwell just getting shuffled back deep in that pack. Meanwhile, out front, it is Jen Jackson and Sevilla Blanc. There's Luana Lecomte up in third wheel now, Zena Fry, Evie Richards as they head into this rock section for the first time.
Yeah, Candice Lill, Yolanda Neff just coming through, about 12 or 13 position, bit too far back. See Candice Lill going for this C line coming down through here. Hoping that she can move up a little bit.
Neff on the move, early doors here in that green, white and orange jersey of Cannondale Factory Racing.
But Samara Maxwell, way out of that top 20 at the moment.
Yeah, as they head down through the jump line for the first time this weekend.
What we see on this course, you've got that long start-finish straight around the back of here on the grass, and then it got that 180 degree and then into the start-finish. There's a chance that the front group will just, everyone slows up, looks at each other, and there's a bit of a pause and the group comes back together. But every time you then get close to that climb, there's always a bit of a scrap.
Ollie, the temperatures out there, like, hotter than we've had them for the last 2 weeks, really. There's been a lot of thunderstorms. There's been, you know, it's been very, very humid, but it's good old-fashioned, extremely hot out there today. Is that going to factor into how the athletes are going to have to pace themselves early in this one?
Henry Gavazzini even said he was hot today for a Brazilian, so that sums it up. But yeah, we've seen riders chatting to Benno, the assistant manager at Mondraker, saying the riders who've been having pre-ice baths, not post-ice baths, but pre-ice baths before they started to spin on the rollers, just to try and keep that core body temperature down.
Sevilla Blanc leads them across the line then for the first time. Then it's Jen Jackson in second, Luana Lecomte in third. The UCI World Champion Evie Richards going for that record today. If she gets the win, as she did at round one, Richards will become the most successful elite women's short track racer, taking that mantle from Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, of course.
So you've got this front group of probably 15, 16 riders led by Sevilla Blanc. It'll be interesting to see where that second group can get back on or whether it's going to split before the climb.
We need to talk about how impressive Jen Jackson was all last weekend. She did it the hard way, but she was a force right at the front of both races.
Clearly in good form. She had a great short track, and then in the XCO was up near the front, but had probably one of the biggest crashes we've seen in a long time, but so fortunate to get away with it. But to the focus to get straight back on your bike, jump on, refocus, and I think afterwards she probably shook her up a little bit. But
you can see, Linda Endergan just getting pushed out there. There is a tussle for those two lines. You come over that rise, you can sort of pump through the bottom off it to generate a bit of speed.
But it's all about scraps. Coming up to this one, you need to be in that front five. And this is where Evie Richards last week was always in a good spot, rode a fantastic race.
Evie Richards on the number 10 bike in your shot now, the UCI World Champion, just getting shuffled backwards slightly. Talk us through this.
Yeah, just teammates actually, just, no, Lapierre and Liv just coming together. Ronja Blockinger second here in the Araxa round 2 last year, but just they're all just trying to move up in an area where there's not really enough space.
Candice Lill looking absolutely supremely strong here at the front on the number 8 bike.
Yeah, Candice Lill, that first lap, she was a little further back. She's done a great job to get herself up into this position. She's taking that outside C line again, just running through, yeah, on the C line, being a little bit safer. May lose a couple of wheels, but at the moment, it's not going to make too much difference. You know, if you come into it in second, you drop back to 4th. That's not a problem. We see Sammy Maxwell just on the C line upside. She's trying to recover. She had an awful start, was outside the top 20 on that first lap. She's recovering well.
4th in Val de Sole, Candice Lill's best short track results so far. Losing a few spots through the jump line though.
But if that front group, it's interesting to know where they're aware that Sammy Maxwell was so far back, and you know, if I was in that front group, I'd be trying to get some instructions maybe from team staff on the side, just knowing that if you've got a rider that's in that much form and they've drifted far back, you probably want to keep the pressure on a little bit.
Yeah, Maxwell
like a little harder.
Maxwell in 13th, just behind the elite debutante Ronja Eibel, her second ever short track as an elite. Eibel stepping up to the big leagues superbly well last weekend.
Yeah, real step up for that New Orangean team, and yeah, 11th place, and they're doing a good XCO to back it up.
Well, we saw Candice Leal lose a few spots through the jump line, but she's ridden back to the front now. There's Alessandra Keller in the all-red, so the UCI World Cup overall title holder alongside the UCI World Champion. As we look at the whoop live of Loane Lecomte, 172 beats per minute.
I think once this race is going to get faster and faster, like that last 2 laps will be the key. Everyone just testing each other out at the moment.
There's Jolanda Neff just in our shot momentarily there. Neff currently in 12th place alongside Lyra Steger. Excuse me, 13th now. Eibel's just pulled past her, so that group behind them trying to bridge across. Neff could well be the catalyst alongside Steger in that second group.
Yeah, Kate Courtney as well in that second group, just coming back.
Evie Richards moving up into 3rd place now.
This is the bit that always scares me, though. Just as they get that regrouping in the grass and you're just waiting for that crash and those bars coming together.
Sina Frey leads the way. Fastest riders on lap 2. Mona Mitterwallner leads the way ahead of Gwendolyn Gibson, Jenny Risfids.
Just keep an eye over that. Sammy Maxwell had just got on the back of that group. Evie Richards now doing a good lap this lap, back into 4th position. Candice Leal after that strong start just dropping back, and she's in at 8th or 9th. Ideally, I'd say early in the race you want to be in that front 5, and it's Richards hitting the front.
Richards hits the front now. Jenny Risfids in the green jersey coming up alongside her. So for the first time we're seeing the UCI World Champion's hand here up this climb.
In this climb here we see Candice Leal just on the corner banging bars. And it's how quick the tables can turn. She was 2nd place before, now she's already back in 12th position.
Look who's up alongside the UCI World Champion, the Danish national champion, Sophie Hebby Pettersen, as somebody on clips there just out of shot. Who was that, Ollie?
I think it was Sammy Maxwell as well. She just got herself back into a decent position. Again, gets tangled up and is having to scrap again.
Yep, Sophie Hebby Pettersen for Villiers Vittoria factory team, the Dane. Stellar under-23 career, now at the front of this elite level short track. And it looks like
there's gaps appearing. Richards is putting on the pressure. Last week she left it to 2 to go. Maybe she's going to mix up the tactics, go long.
Richards really attacking on that climb, and she knows she will always back herself in the descent against anybody else in the world. And now Evie Richards putting some pressure on the front of this race for Trek Factory Racing.
And Miranda Neff as well, they're just off the back of Loane Lecomte, back 7th, 8th position. Having a good short track so far, and she had to work her way back from deep in the grid, so good first 2 laps for her.
Neff in 8th position now on our screens in the booth, so it's Richards, Pettersen, Risfids at the front. And there is the Trek Factory Racing star.
Richards in good position, and I think this is how to ride this short track, is you sit drift in 3rd or 4th, hard on the climb, hard and push the descent. You're not going to get taken out by anybody else, and then just back off a little bit now and save a little bit of energy. Easier said than done.
There is Samara Maxwell through the shot for Decathlon Ford. So that fast lap from Evie Richards has split the deck somewhat. Ronja Blurtlinger on the 46. Just trying to get this train back across to that front group. Really good little short track circuit here in Araxa.
You see the pressure from Richards. It's just made that gap appear. And Neff doing a great short track, just working up the outside.
Yolanda Neff, we saw her sort of... Neff trying to get to the front of this one. She sort of faded during the cross-country Olympic race as she slots into 2nd now ahead of Evie Richards, but said she just got her pacing wrong, cooked herself a little bit, and just getting used to running at the front again. But Yolanda definitely back with a bang in 2025. Definite signs of recovery as Jenny Risfids, 2016 Olympic champion, at the front now for Canyon Collective.
Yeah, and Sophie Hebby Pettersen as well, top under 23 from 2 years ago. It took her last year just to kind of step up into things, but mixing it at the front with the big guns.
Really was Kate Courtney now on the right-hand side, joining the party as well in the all black of that new setup of hers on the number 7 bike, just riding through your shot now. And this one is all back together here in Araxa. There's Kelsey Urban, the US national champion. Anna Santos as well, the first year elite, joining the party.
A couple of riders just getting caught out of position. Nicole Collar as well, 4th in this race, 2nd in the XCO, just a bit too far back. Alessandra Keller as well, just trying to work around the outside, but also getting caught out of position a little bit.
Jen Jackson being really combative early doors here in Araxa. Jenny Risfids, Evie Richards getting lower and lower over the top tube of that trek as this race goes on.
Candice Lill had that incident the last lap and she's still trying to get back on terms again, just coming around now on the C line.
Yeah, seems to prefer that way round, maybe just slightly less traffic. There's Sammy Maxwell on the number 1, the red plate of the series overall points leader.
Yeah, Sammy Maxwell having a tough one here, just always just getting herself back, and then another issue, and it just shows how, if you're sitting there in the teens, how hard life can be.
This is the 48th ever UCI cross-country short track World Cup race, heading towards 50 on what is becoming a fan favourite. All action right from the gun, as ever here in Araxa.
So this pattern now, these little gaps appear. That time the pressure from Jen Jackson on the climb and then on the descent, and then they just get let off a little bit and it all regroups. This is where you see Evie Richards last week in this race, just was always in the right place at the right time, and then on that last lap, first place into the climb and then could put her power into practice.
She really has, she's developed that climbing, that sort of ascending attack as well. We always knew she was superb on the descents, having trained with downhill legend Tracy Mosley in the UK, also from Malvern, of course. But now she can really use the climbs as a launch pad on those descents, can't she?
And it's using that 30 to 60 second power that someone like Evie Richards in the men's, Victor Koretsky, no one can, if they get them in the right place, no one can go with them.
And look, just in the back, just in the middle of your shot now, in the red helmet, the red jersey, Alessandra Keller. She is always there, Ollie.
And Sammy Maxwell just coming through, again, just having to fight back onto the wheels.
Yolanda Neff right in there, currently in 6th. There she is in the middle of your screen now, in the middle of this pack. Loana Lecomte getting shuffled back, but still in with the leaders in the French national champions jersey.
Yeah, there's a few riders, Loana Lecomte, Nicole Collar, always never quite in the right place, just drifting.
As they head down off the bridge, lap 5 out of 7 already. Kate Courtney leads them here at the UCI Cross Country Short Track World Cup, the 2nd round from Araxa, Brazil, in as many weeks. And it's been a while since we've seen Courtney take to the lead of a UCI World Cup race, Ollie.
Took her a couple of laps working her way through, but full of confidence now. She's going to hit that climb first. And I don't think it's a bad tactic just to roll at the front a little bit along that grass section.
Didn't work out for her with Scott Schramm, MTB Racing, and set her own team up around herself this off-season. Rubbed shoulders with Tom Cruise at the launch of the LA Olympics. Kate Courtney looking like she is back with a bang here in Araxa.
This is her mission impossible.
Oh, there we go. Lap 5 out of 7. And it's all kicking off at the front. It's now the UCI cross-country short track world champion Evie Richards. The white jersey with the rainbow stripes and the number 10 track, leading the way from Jenny Risfids, the Swedish rider, ahead of Zina Fry. Fry's looked really good at the start of this, you know. Second round here in Araxa, slightly tweaked short track course, providing some fantastic racing. And again, Evie Richards attacking them on the descent, Ollie.
Yeah, she was going deep into that one, carrying so much speed. You see there was little gaps appearing from this front 3 now, or even the front 2 as Vizvez just hangs on to Evie Richards. Keller had to go around Courtney and just try to close that gap back on, but because of the nature of this course, there's a really technical, intense section followed by this flatter, easy section. Everyone's going to just regroup again, I feel.
Zina Fry in 3rd now, just ahead of Alessandra Keller, the reigning overall title holder, but this group is starting to stretch the elastic now. These 3 making a bid for the podium here on lap 5 out of 7 as they come round to hit lap 6.
Sammy Maxwell, the overall leader, had a shocking start and be trying to get back on terms. She's up to about 7th, 8th position now.
There's Keller, always there for Thomas Maxson.
But this is the biggest gap we've seen so far, and it was the pressure from Richards on that climb. Clearly the form short track rider.
Keller pedaling her way around that little wooden berm as they come together, the four of them at the front.
Decent gap now, 4 or 5 seconds back to Courtney.
What do you think, Keller? Oh, you see Kate Courtney just looking around, and that second group, Ollie, trying to figure out who's going to lead the attack on that gap ahead to this one. There's Keller machining her way towards the front on the 11th, takes the lead.
Good job.
Jenny Risford, Keller just looking at Risfeds and kind of saying, we need to work. We've got 4 of us, we've got a gap.
Jenny Risford's on the 69 bike, the Canyon Collective machine in the green jersey, alongside Alessandra Keller, a rider she has raced throughout her career. Evie Richards, the UCI World Champion, in third now.
I thought that was going to stick, that little gap then, but
yeah, the pack has brought them back in.
Keen. We know.
And now Jen Jackson launches an attack on the number 19 Orbea. Jen Jackson, right where Haley Batten attacked them last year here in Araxá, moves to the front and keeps on going. And now it's a question of, are they going to stay with her?
Took a few riders by surprise. Evie Richards first to react, Zena Fry as well.
Zena Fry looking razor sharp at the front of this one as they head on to the climb. This could be really, really telling now. Jen Jackson ups the pace. Can anyone live with her on this climb? Evie Richards in second wheel for the time being. Zena Fry in third. Risford's getting pushed to the right-hand side.
That was a good attack by Jackson up the outside. Took him by surprise, going from 2 to go. I think this is what you've got to do to beat Richards.
Really, really punchy stuff from Jen Jackson up that climb. Richards makes it up in second. Then it's Risford's, then Fry, then Keller as they head into the rock section for the penultimate time.
And we know how quick Jen Jackson is on the descent. Whether she and Evie Richards riding really fast tonight, whether they can pull clear, get that little gap, but they've still got to go down that start-finish straight for another lap. Jackson just styling it up.
As they head through the jump section. And there's a slight gap forming now back to Zena Fry. She's coming into the clutches of her compatriot, Alessandra Keller. Meanwhile, out front, it's all about the 19. Jen Jackson heads the UCI World Champion, Evie Richards. Then it's Jenny Risford. As they head over the river gaps.
I think it was a great attack, taking it on long with penultimate lap.
Jenny Risford threatening to move that berm further away from the original position. Hit it really, really hard. Got a load of speed over the bridge. Jackson, Richards, Risford, 1, 2, 3 here in Araxá. The pace just cooled slightly by Jackson as they head round now.
I think this is good for Jackson. If she can just, I think she'd be really happy with the top 3. So I think for her, if she can just lead this one and drive it, I don't think that's a bad shout. Top riders like Keller getting back on terms.
As they hit the final lap here in round 2, Araxá. It's Jackson, Richards, Risford, but the group is back together again. Keller, Blurklinger, Fry, Steger, Kohler, Pedersen, Lecomte, your top 10. Sammy Maxwell back in 11th. And pick a winner out of this little lot, Ollie. This one, you can't take your eyes off it.
Yeah, Nicole Kohler as well, just coming around the outside, having a cracking weekend last weekend. And this is the first time we've seen her hit this front kind of 2 or 3, so.
Nicole Kohler could well be the surprise package here. A lot of people superbly impressed by her performance last weekend. The rider in red in third on your screen just through your shot now. The Ghost Factory Racing star. Let's see if an attack goes here again, but it's now Richards turning the screw at the front. Evie Richards, is she going to have to go long here?
And you don't want to let Evie Richards hit this climb at first. You've got to do everything you can to close her out.
Kohler on the number 13 Ghost bike. So, on the last lap here in Araxá, that traditional springboard is bypassed. It's going to come on this hill, or it is going to come on the descent from it.
Laura Steger just moving up the inside as well, up into 4th.
Here we go, Evie Richards over the bars, digs deep. Kohler digs deeper, right up the centre. Nicole Kohler in the number 13 bike in the red jersey. Richards not done yet. Risford's fighting for space with Steger behind her.
And that's what you had to do. Nicole Kohler can't let Richards lead this section. Took the front wheel away from Evie.
Look how hard Evie Richards is working in second spot, but it is this Swiss woman, Nicole Kohler, who will lead them up to the top of that climb for the last lap. Into the rock section now. The front end of the lap goes dancing through the rocks.
And this is where it's so technical. All of the riders at their limit.
And they're going to hit this jump line, and Evie Richards is going to put in one of the runs through it. Looks like Jen Jackson's hopes of a win are fading slightly now as she moves back. Who's going to hit the bridge first? It's going to be Kohler, you know.
Laura Steger, one of the best descenders in the field, just trying to close that gap to the front three.
Great ride from Ronja Blurtlinger in 6th as it stands, but up front.
And Nicole Kohler as well, really stepping up last weekend. And clearly in the best form of her life.
Nicole Kohler for Ghost Factory Racing is about to lead the UCI World Champion Evie Richards. Jenny Risford, the former Olympic champion, into a sprint finish here in Araxa. Nicole Kohler has yet to win a UCI Short Track World Cup. Evie Richards wants to become the most successful short track rider in elite women's history. Moves to the front now. Now Richards has to get going. Is she going to take Pauline Ferrand-Prévot's record from her? As they head on to the finish straight. Evie Richards digs deep, Nicole Kohler digs deep. Evie Richards takes Pauline Ferrand-Prévot's wins record from her. Evie Richards, the most successful elite woman in cross-country short track history. Whoa. Behind her, Kohler, Risford, Steger, Jackson in 5th, Blurtlinger in 6th, Keller crossing the line in 7th. Samara Maxwell recovers to 8th place and some great points for her.
Yeah, Candice Lill as well, just rounding out that 11th place. Recovering from a crash on that penultimate lap.
Kate Courtney heading towards the line now. Ahead of Indergan. There is your winner, though. Evie Richards can't stop winning short track races in 2025. Wins both opening rounds of this UCI cross-country short track World Cup season. Evie Richards.
Fair play to Nicole Kohler. She took it to her, attacked on that climb, didn't let Evie have it all her own way. And Jen Jackson as well, attacking full on with a penultimate lap.
And that's how close short track racing is now, isn't it? We saw attacks coming from riders that we might have been forgiven for not expecting them to come from, and right at the front, closer than ever. Here we go as we see the highlights. And as ever in elite women's short track, virtually impossible to pick a winner. Jen Jackson again, super combative right from the go. Groups formed at the front all race long, only to be brought back in again. But it was this final climb. Nicole Kohler rode a superb lap, asked a lot of questions of Evie Richards, but ultimately the Englishwoman had answers to all of them. Evie Richards wins in Araxa, the 2nd round of the UCI Cross Country Short Track World Cup. 2 on the bounce for her. More importantly, that takes her past Pauline Ferrand-Prévot in the wins tally, moves her up to 7. Richards, Kohler, Risford, Steger and Jackson, your top 5 then. Blurtlinger, Keller, Maxwell, Urban and Fry. Kohler riding out of her skin into 2nd place. Candice Lill, 12th, just behind Sevilla Blanc. Nina Graf, another great ride for her in 13th. Let's head down there now. Ashley Wilmot is with Evie Richards.
Evie Richards, you just love winning short track races, don't you? And in fact, this one marks that means you're the most successful rider in the Women's Short Track World Cup ever. So how does that sound?
That's pretty sick. I was so nervous. I think when you're like a world champion and then you're leading the series, it's a lot of pressure. So I was really nervous before, but yeah, I'm stoked. That's pretty cool. I sometimes forget that I'm like a good rider because at home I'm just like in a small town. So you're like, oh wow, that's incredible.
And in terms of strategy today, was it the same as last week? Did you feel like you had to mix it up and go harder earlier on in the race?
Yeah, I spoke about it with my coaches and it's like, again, you can only do what I can do on the day. So we have a bit of a rough plan, but nothing changes too much. These short track, you never know who's going to come. Yeah, so you just got to be on your feet and kind of like defend it how the race goes. You can't really have a plan. I suppose maybe it's a bit like netball or something.
The group was very much on your tail though, weren't they? Could you feel the pressure? Did you feel Jen Jackson's attack on lap 6? Did that catch you off guard?
Not really. I felt like it's in a video game. It's just like people rather than like just like figurines. So it didn't really. It was just like someone made an attack. It didn't really process who it was. And Jen's riding so strong. So yeah, I did think she would hold it to the end. But yeah, definitely it's weird having riders looking at me now because it hasn't happened all too often.
One to watch. Well done today.
Yeah, thanks. I'm just eyeing at the capybaras. Can you see them? One of my dogs can get her, and now the other one can have one. So you got 2 of them.
Amazing. Go grab one now. Well done, Evie.
Thank you.
I feel compelled to point out that those are cuddly capybaras and not live capybaras. But huge day for Evie Richards. 7 wins spanning 6 seasons. First short track win, round 1 2020 in Novo Mesto na Morave. That was the year, of course, she won back-to-back. Now she's beaten that record of Pauline Ferrand-Prévost's 150 points to the good in the cross-country short track overall standings as well. Now ahead of Kohler, Samara Maxwell in 3rd, Alessandra Keller in 4th, Risvids in 5th. Keller 220 points behind now, the reigning overall title holder. Kate Courtney in 12th, Urban in 14th, Lecomte back in 16th, Yolanda Neff inside the top 20 in 19th. On a historic day here in Araxa. Let's check out the lap comparison graphics then. Fastest final lap of the race going to Nicole Kohler. Jen Jackson, lap 6 on that one. She attacked, takes lap 6. Alessandra Keller on lap 5, fastest off the race where she bridged the gap. Sevilla Blanc out Le Trap's fastest on lap 1. Tamara Vidman on lap 3, fastest of the race. So the talent running extremely deep here in elite women's short track racing. Fastest individual laps up and down the field. As once again the sun comes out and the heat begins to build once more. Here at the 48th UCI Cross Country Short Track World Cup. Elite men's racing coming to you